Hello, everyone. It's Mike Merker here with People Solving Impossible Puzzles. It's episode 43, and I'm joined by Ahmed Khawaja. Did I say that correctly?
Perfect.
Tell us all about yourself. Tell.
Well, of course, I'm going to tell you about myself, and we're going to have a fun time. I'll start off with showing you something. So look at this.
I love it.
Yeah. So what do you what can you recall after looking at this?
Great question. I have a feeling in my mind of like a strong kind of movie like character, kind of like one of
Yeah.
these 90s,
This this is
punchers.
the,
Yeah.
the name of the character is Jules, and the name of the actor is Samuel L. Jackson, and the name of the movie is one of my favorite movies. It's called Pulp Fiction. Um, I actually, on purpose, I wore this T-shirt because I wanted to start off by telling people how to be different, how to do things differently, how to stand out, how to look extraordinary, and that's one of the inspirations that I get from Quentin Tarantino, the movies that he makes. Pulp Fiction came out, I think, in early '90s, and the entire movie was, working in the reverse. I mean, the ending came at in the beginning, and it
Yeah.
worked its way backwards till the end. That was really fascinating at that time, and it grabbed attention of everyone. And this character of Jules, which was played by Samuel L. Jackson, was an extraordinary character. So he was, one of the hitmen along with John
Yes.
Travolta. And the funny part is that whenever he used to kill his targets, he used to, recite a verse from Bible, and
Yes.
and that was actually the only the ending two words from that verse were from the Bible. The the other content was not from Bible. It was it was written as a script for another movie by Tarantino, and he used that. And people thought, oh, it's a verse, and they used
Yeah.
to actually say, oh, this is that particular 57, I don't know what verse in Bible. So it was really captivating at that point of time. So what I'm trying to say is, we still remember that movie. We still remember those characters. Why? Because that was something done differently from the rest of the movies which were on those days, and people, it grabbed attention. So whenever you know if you okay, so let's come to the present world. So a lot of people are doing so many different things in this world, especially with the advent of AI. Everyone is a founder now. They can do whatever they want to do, right? So if to stand out, to be extraordinary, as I mentioned earlier, you have to think really hard. What is it that this world is missing, right?
Yes.
What is it that I
Yes.
can offer to this world which is not there right now? Or if it's
Yes.
there, how I can completely change the entire concept and do something which is, you know,
Yes.
shocking for people to see.
Yeah. And opening up this can of worms, I actually have the popcorn. Speaking of exciting movies, but before I
Talking about
jump,
movies,
I
you have the ingredients.
the
Yeah,
ingredients, and we have to take a moment. I literally, okay, on the computer next to me, I literally typed in Pulp Fiction exact quote, and it says from, oh, I guess it's from Ezekiel
yeah.
25, chapter 17. So I just think that's incredible. How here we have like something so old, like a biblical quote, which is probably in Hebrew. It must have been in Hebrew before it's been translated in Greek or Latin or English or French or whatever. And I also have a smiley face on my hand. I don't know if that how will fit that in. But what you're touching on something very interesting is like really creative ideas, like something that stays in your mind. Quentin Tarantino, the movies Backwards. I love that movie, by the way. I think I was like 10 years, 8 years old when it first came out. So many mixed stories and things. And that's exactly what's going on. That's a perfect example. I'm just catching up. And tell me more about for people who haven't met you or don't know what Bite Mage is. Tell us what Bite Mage is all about.
All right, so I'll start off by myself. Okay, so I'll introduce myself. So I've lived two professional lives. So my first professional life was an investment banker. Um, I only knew numbers. I only knew, corporate, large size entities, global entities. What are their financial needs? Where are they heading towards financially? What kind of strategies they're coming up with? What kind of products they're coming up with? Why are they coming up with that? What kind of cost will it entail? And how much money can we give to them? And building up those relationships and taking them forward. So I did that for about 17, 18 years. Um, and then all throughout those years, although I learned a lot, I gained a lot of confidence. I learned how to maintain and manage the relationships, which is extremely important. No matter what the kind of business you're in, you need to learn how to manage relationships and grow relationships, right?
Yes, yes, yes,
So I
yes.
mean that, yeah. And I learned about different strategies which companies adopt, especially enterprise level. Um, but still, something was still missing. I mean, I wouldn't say that I thoroughly enjoyed being an investment banker. I was born to be an investment banker. Uh, I, 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 I never felt that.
What? Wait,
So
wait a second. But or sorry to interrupt you there. You every day you did investment banking. You were working in that space, but behind that, in your own heart, it was not what you're calling. It was not like your ultimate what you felt to do. It was more of a this is a job, this is a business, this is a role I fell into, and it was comfortable. It was comfortable, and the bills were being paid, and there was honor. There must have been honor in the money managing the banking space, right?
yeah, and obviously it was quite respectful. People respected, bankers everywhere I went. I actually spent quite a number of years in Middle East doing banking.
Where, where,
Um,
where in the Middle East?
in
Where?
Dubai.
In Dubai. You were
Yeah.
living. You've been all over the world. You've worked
Yeah, so
all over the
I've,
world.
I've, I've lived about 14, 15 years in Dubai
Wow.
doing investment banking. And it took me, to so many different places. I met so many different kind of people. Dubai being the hub of the economic activities, people from all over the world were there. And we were actually investing outside of Dubai as well, large size companies, global companies. So it was, to that extent, it was exciting that I'm actually involved with larger enterprises. I'm dealing with people who are thoroughly professional. They have 30, 40 years of professional careers behind them. They've built multi-billion dollar companies and they're growing it. And I'm
Yes.
actually a part of helping them grow by giving them more money. Yeah. So so
Growth capital through investment banking was what was that like day to day? What was the day in your life going
that's
back there?
where I was. That's a
Sorry.
brilliant question, and that's where I was
Oh
coming at.
yes, sorry. Yes.
Yeah, so behind that, traveling and all that, meeting new people, all professional was really good. But day to day, it was, for me, it was becoming very monotonous. Uh,
Mm.
you know, you lived in a very restricted environment. Whenever it's financials are involved, you have a lot of restrictions on you. Your creativity seems to be locked in. You can't move out of that, and every day
Yes.
you're working
Yes.
because you're trying to taking a lot of stress, because what if I make this decision, What if I go this way, and tomorrow when the audit is going to happen, and they will come after me? So
Yes,
that level
yes.
of stress was continuous. You know, so, so the creativity was limited. So I had that in my mind that, maybe there's something else in me that I can do, but it was not something conscious. Maybe in subconscious it was, building up. So what happened, a friend of mine from the US, he's a software engineer by qualification, and he has a couple of software companies, tech companies in the US. He was stopping by in Dubai, and he's my school friend, and he pinged me and he said, let's meet up. So I said, yeah, let's meet. So I went there, we started talking, what's happening, what are you doing, and this and that. So one thing to another led to another, and we started talking about technology, because that's what his world was. And I'm talking about 7 8 years ago.
Yes.
uh, and we started talking about it. And I didn't even know T of technology. I mean, I was
So honest.
not aware of
It's
what's
okay.
happening. Yeah, because we were not investing in technologies. We were investing in companies who are either selling services or products, right?
It was not a. Oh, of course. What you're saying there is that you there are fields. There are fields. Everyone listening, if we listen closely, the lesson. One of the lessons here is that there are some people where their job is to manage money, move money, working capital, investment capital, gas in the tank, if you will. They're not involved in the technology. They're not involved in the business. They're just making sure that there's money, because you need money to grow, you need money to start, you need money to research, you need money to invent. Yeah, yeah, go on. Amazing. Such a great
Yeah,
story.
so
Yeah.
so I met that guy, and we started talking about technology, and he started telling me where technology is going towards, and especially coming from the US, he had first-hand experience of exactly where technology is today and where it's going. And we kept on talking, and somehow or the other, something started building up in me that, hey, this is a big huge industry, and I have never thought of that much about it, right? And why am I not
Mm.
part of that growth, that
Why am
ultimate.
I not part of it? Why and why am I not part of it also means, is it okay if I can choose to be part of it? Let
Yes,
myself
exactly.
put a like a you got a frozen swimming pool, and the guy puts a foot in and he goes, oh crap, so I don't know what I'm getting myself into. Yeah, yeah, I'm loving it. Popcorn,
Yeah,
keep
so
going. Yeah.
it's I mean, yeah, so I started thinking about it when we were talking, me and my friend. And then he knew that I'm coming from the investment banking background. I understand numbers and all that, and I understand how a company should operate, where it is now, where it was before, where it is now, where it's heading towards. I had that you know understanding of businesses. So he offered me something. He said he's got two new products com- are coming out in the US, and he is looking for someone who can help him with the investments, raising investments for those two tech products. And both of them were AI products. And remember, that's the classical AI we're talking about, the AI which came out because of algorithms, not because of the LLMs and other tools that we have today.
The
So
first,
that's like
the old school AI.
old school
For
AI, yeah,
example,
the
like
classical AI.
you're thinking more something maybe like audio based, like Siri. Would you say that's classical AI or an
No, so
example?
classical AI is something that you have to build through algorithms, something
Oh,
which
okay.
performs a certain action um, once that problem arises. It acts as per the algorithms provided behind it. The backend is giving instructions to that AI to act in a certain way, detect some sort of anomaly, detect some sort of fraud. If this happens, do this. If that happens, do that. All of those
Kind of like
code
a
algorithms
massive
get put
flow
behind it.
chart, a massive switches, a massive chart,
Yeah,
and kind of like if this happens, go over there. Kind of like
yeah,
guiding computer processes or
yeah.
guiding decision
Hundreds and
making.
thousands of coded
Thousands.
lines were behind those kind of AI, not the today's
Okay.
AI, which is just a plugin and everything starts working whatever you want to, what you want
Yes,
to.
yeah, we're spoiled today a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, I tell everyone, uh, I tell everyone who's under 20 or under 30, I'm like, whatever you, you don't know what it's like when you have to like plug your modem in and like make sure your sister's not on your phone call to her friend, and then you hope that one of the images downloads before the printer breaks. Like, yeah. Going back to like 1995 there, yeah. I love what you're saying. And your journey, you're sharing the journey into from money to tech,
yeah.
which
So
you're
that's
happy,
that's
you're
where
smiling
he have.
today. Yeah,
So
yeah, the next part of the journey.
he told me that he's looking for someone to help him raise funds, and he gave me the idea that, hey, you're coming from that investment background. I'm
Yes.
looking for someone who can create the investment pitch, do the projections, come out with the valuations, what kind of funds that we should raise, what kind of strategies should we adapt, and and then we can go out in the market and raise funds together. So that was something which triggered an idea in me that this is the right path for me to move from one industry to another, because that's like a bridge, because it brings my previous experience and takes me into a new industry.
Just this is actually profound. What you're saying here is instead of going, I'm dealing with investments in a banking capacity, to I'm going to be a coder in a tech company. Instead, you went, I'm going to
Yeah.
go into tech through the investment lens. Stay in the investment lens. I get it.
Exactly.
Instead of jumping, like quit
So
everything,
for
transitional.
any tech
Transition,
company,
transition.
or any other company, there are different people doing different kind of roles, right? So for a tech company, there are coders, developers who are working every day for developing something, coding and all that.
Mm.
But then we need people who can uh, come up with strategies of where are we heading towards with respect to the business, right?
Of
So
course.
whatever product you're selling or whatever service you're selling, you need people to come up with outstanding, extraordinary, unique ideas to grow that business, right? So my transition from banking into
Yes.
technology was through the investment raise that I did. So we went to the US, created the pitch deck, and when I was working on creating the pitch deck along with my friend, I learned a lot about technology because we started off from scratch. And it was not a everyday sort of a solution. It was extraordinary deep tech solution, and
Yes.
I really jumped into it. I don't know how to code. I still don't know how to code, but I understand what can be done, right, and how it can be done, and how do we sell it? How do we raise funds against it, right, or for it, or how do we exit out of it, right? So
Amazing.
there is.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just reflecting back that, Ahmed, you're saying that you're coming at technology not as a guy like me who's like, here's some coding, prototyping, and let's write lots of
No,
code,
no, of
code,
course
code,
not.
code, 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 and
No,
then maybe I'll
no.
call a friend. You're coming the completely different angle where you're like, what is the business side first, which is a lot smarter. In fact, I tell everyone, you have to have a problem first. You can't
Well,
just write code in
even
your
if you
underpants,
even if you're a coder, even if you're a developer, even if you're doing coding and coming up with a brilliant solution for the world, I mean, you don't have necessarily have that skill to have have it built as a business, right? So you would need someone who understands business, how a business can be created out of it, how and what needs to be sold, at
Mm,
what price it needs to be sold, what kind of strategies need to have to sell it. Because remember, you can have an Apple iPhone 17 Pro Max, right?
yes.
You can build that, right? But if you're not able to sell it, it's worth nothing, you know?
Yeah, and repeating this very clearly, uh I'm saying this as a 42-year-old guy. If I could talk back to the Mike Merker 10 years ago or 20 years ago, I would come with the wise lesson of we have to think about the marketplace. We have to think about what will sell. And then when you talk to an investor, you put together the investment materials, you have to put on the hat of money and of commerce. It is not, you can't say, oh, I got a million features and a friend thought this was great. No, 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 you're saying it great. Is that you have to have a product that has to serve in that has to fit into a market, product market fit. They go on, go on. I'm just saying the
Yes, I mean, you're
ABCs. Yeah.
right. I mean, you're
Yes.
absolutely correct there. I mean, if you can have a brilliant product, but if you don't know how you're going to sell it, you know, how are you going to make money out of it, or even raise money out of it? Whoever is
Exactly.
going to put
Exactly.
whoever is
And
going to put money into you, they would need to know whether you have the right strategies to sell it.
yes, yes. And it's so interesting. Sometimes I'm in the middle of a project or someone shows me something and I'm like, really cool. But then when I talk to someone else, and this happens all the time, they're looking with very different eyes. They're not looking at the code and at the features and at the richness of the nerdiness. No, they literally say market validation. Where is the okay? We have to actually ask people: is this something you would use? Is this something that would solve a problem? Is this something you would pay for? These are the ABCs. These are the foundational things, and you've learned this because in banking,
Yeah,
everything
hmm
has to. Uh, I'm not an
has to be
investment banker.
structure.
There has
Everything
to be
has to have some sort
structure.
of a
Yes,
schedule of processes, right? You need to have some sort of a document which tells you what to do, right? And what are the limits? What how far you can go with it, and when you talk about banking, you do financial analysis, you do financial projections, you come up with uh, the best case scenario financially and why it is a best case scenario. You do worst case scenario, why what would be the worst case scenario that the financials are going to drop, all that reasoning that you have to think about. And then you are thinking about, okay, so if they're coming up with this product, will it sell in the market or not? Will there be any demand in the market or not? How will they be able to market it? How will they be able to sell it? Once you have satisfactory responses to all of those questions, then you put in your money, right? I was on the other side of the table when I was giving out money. So I would look at all those aspects, whether this is going to be a successful venture or not, whether we should put our money into it or not. So
yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And getting into like very practical terms, I want to share with everyone that when I first reached out to BiteMage and when I was first, I guess, going through the what is the okay, I got this type of system, a song puzzle. I got all these funky charts around me, which I've shown you, and you're the only guy who's like, okay, we need to, math, as like a mega, like a battle plan, if you will. You and your friends, your co-founders, your partners in crime, if you will, you put together like a meticulous dollar by dollar, day by day, multi-pronged, like 7 steps and cut and structured. And I was like, oh my God, I have never seen in my whole life. I have never seen. Okay, I'm coming from a different background, whatever, education and toys and and coding teaching and a little bit the religious teaching, but I never saw like an investment banker level like okay, $500 for this, $1,000 for this, a monthly thing of 195. Okay, step three, step four, step five. Okay, first we have
Yeah,
to
so
do the engine
I'll,
and
I'll,
then
I'll say,
yeah,
it's not just me. You need to choose to work with the right people. um, and that comes with experience. I believe that luckily I chose the right people to work with, right? Who
yes.
understood at what level the presentation needs to go at,
Could you
what
share?
is something which the other person is looking for,
Could
how we can
yes,
support them, how we can give them the vision that probably they are missing out, and whatever you're
yes,
building,
yes.
we're supposed to help you figure out how to build that, right?
Could
And
you share? I get this question all the time. Could you share how you were able to put together the right team of, let's call it, co-founders or business partners? For example, knowing your Murtaza, could you explain how well you thought about? How did you know which? Well, how did you know we need one guy for this and one guy for this, and he's good at this and this? How did that come together? The story there.
tell you, I'll be extremely transparent about it and very open about it. I am a sort of a person, and I was telling that to somebody else yesterday. If I feel comfortable talking with someone, that gives me the confidence that I can trust that person,
Mm.
and that comes with experiences. I won't say age, because a lot of people are pretty old and they make horrible decisions. I make bad
Yes.
decisions as well,
Me too.
but
Me too.
it comes with experiences, right? It's all about the Gen Z word vibes, the energies meeting. So instantly when I met those guys, I felt that they have the right kind of attitude, the right kind of people that I can work with, and that has been my way of making a decision whenever I'm going to be working with someone. If I feel confident that I can talk to them about anything, any ideas, whatever I have in me, and I can openly and confidently, speak that out with them, express myself openly with them, and it makes me feel happy that I'm doing it. That's it.
That's it.
But there are tons of examples where I've interacted with people, and immediately I felt that I
Mm.
don't feel like I don't feel like exploring this any further.
Yes, yes. So here, going deeper into that is that it's smart to reflect on that. It's not necessarily an intellectual thing or a resume thing or a LinkedIn thing or a.
Absolutely not.
It's a. Could we call it a? As you said, vibes, sensing, instinctual, and vibes. And is it a good fit? And this is important because we need to rely on other people to help us. And sometimes we need a really good app developer, or we need a really good hardware tech guy to look at a device and be like, how does it work? Mike, let me talk about it with you. And sometimes we need a security person if we're dealing with certain things in education or government or certain things. And you would say that you what else? You the vibes. Could you elaborate on the
Yeah.
vibes? What are the vibes? What are the vibes we
Uh,
should look for?
so when you're working with someone, right? Whether you're hiring someone or making a decision to work as a co-founder with someone, a lot of people are going through that decision making process. Um, Once you start working with them, you will be working as a person. They will be working with you as a person, as who they are, as a person. You won't be working with a piece of paper which provides a profile info, right? This is their qualification, this is the work experience, blah, 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 blah. They've done all those projects. You're not interacting with those black and white alphabets, right? You're
Yes.
interacting with the person. So what I do is that whenever I talk to someone and I feel that the interaction is interesting and welcoming and open, and I'm able to enjoy the conversation. There are laughters in between as well. There is comfort of I can speak to you about anything I want. That's in a not one or two or three things. That's like combination of so many different things which is going on at the back of your head, and you then
Yes.
eventually consciously make a decision based on all those characteristics or personality traits of the other person that you're interacting with, and that's what comes with experience. So yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, amazing. And here we're also touching on that it's not all what you say with your mouth in English or another language. A lot of it's the non-verbal, the vibes. When you say vibes, you're not saying there was a transcript of some recorder and we watched the recording and we read what Mike said and we read what Ahmed said and we read what this guy said. No, no, you're talking about the things behind the language, the almost like the culture or the personality, and in a bit of a different topic, and I'm just learning this now, diversity and people of different backgrounds and people from different countries and people who are coming from different parts of the world and different languages and different religious beliefs. It's better, it's more fruitful when you have the diversity, not just for social, save the world and beautiful reasons, but in the business terms, in practical, creative terms. It's really nice when you have people from different backgrounds because then you get a broader perspective and new ideas come together, and you feel this as well. You are not afraid to talk to a person who's a Canadian Jewish guy with a beard and a Jewish nose and Jewish glasses.
Yeah. Okay. So forget about that. I've traveled. I've met so many different
Mm,
people with different backgrounds. Even if someone who has not traveled, right? Let's assume for a moment. Um, but I remember going back like centuries when I was doing my MBA. It was just the internet was a new thing at that time, and I was, you know, a professor of ours, introduced us with a concept called the global village, and we all had to do our exercise on what a global village is going to be, and how the technology is going to help us, shrink the entire world into one village, where people can easily interact with each other. So that's so after all those years, since last, I would say 10, let's say last 10 to 15 years, the world has shrunk. We can
yes.
easily see you're sitting in Canada, right?
Yes,
I'm
yes.
uh, in Pakistan at this point of time, and we're interacting instantaneously, right? I've met 120 different people in the last 2 months from different parts of the world with different backgrounds, different kind of products that they're developing, right?
Yes.
So I've learned a lot from them, and I've interacted with them. I know where they're coming from. I know uh, you know what kind of expressions would trigger laughter, what kind of input that I can give which can help them. What am I looking for from them? So there are different ways you learn from different people. I learned from a lot of different people. I've learned a lot from you as well. I mean, I've learned how to react with excitement.
Yeah, that's my thing. Yeah, people are like, "Oh, you're like a 5-year-old kid in a candy store."
Yeah,
I,
so I learned from everyone. I mean, everyone should learn from other
mm.
people how to become the best version of yourself.
And we the and there's a huge difference. I was saying this to a few people last week that like there's a huge difference between world news or expressions of conflict in the media and hate and complicated world issues that will never resolve, but at a person to person level, at a computer nerd to startup expert
Human to
financial
human
level,
level, at a human to human
human
level.
level, human to human, and yeah, what's in your daily life? What's it like today? Like one day in your life, what's that like?
Well, it's all about communication. In my field, it's all communication. Meeting new people, fixing meetings, sending emails, sending messages. Where the things stand today. Where are we heading towards tomorrow? Where is your project going on at this point of time? What are the issues that you're facing? It's all about communication in my role. It's all about reaching out to people. It's all about responding to people who are reaching out to me. So my role, I would say every role has a major portion of that role has to be a good communicator.
Mm.
If, for example,
Yes.
let's say, for example, I'm a coder, right? And I've come up with a new set of ideas to code something out, right? But if I'm not able to communicate this to either my own company or the customer that I'm working for, you
Yes.
know, then I'm not able to convey my message or my idea to anyone else, right? uh, I, I meet a lot of people. A lot of people tend to complicate a lot of things. So which means
Yes.
that they're, they are not thinking from the angle of the listener. They're just throwing their vocabulary, their experiences or knowledge, thinking that the other person is able to understand me whatever I'm saying. So I tell this to everyone that I work with, everyone that I engage with, that whenever you are talking to someone, you're trying to explain to them something. Explain to them from the perspective that they don't know anything about it, and you are
Yes.
telling them
Yes.
as a teacher in a
As a
very
teacher.
simple language of exactly how things should look like, or what's your idea in your mind. you know Come and
And dumb
think
it down.
like
Simple, simple,
being on
simple,
the other person's
simple.
shoes. Think from their perspective, from their angle. So my day is full of communication. My day is full of research. My day is full of coming up with new ideas of how businesses should grow, what kind of strategies to adopt, what kind of marketing strategies to adopt, sales strategies, all of that. So it's like a combination of so many different things.
Excellent. And if someone is watching this and they've enjoyed it and they want to reach out to you, how can they get in touch with yourself or BiteMage, your company?
Yeah, so I'm well, I don't know, I don't say that myself, but LinkedIn uh, tells me that I'm a I'm a thought leader.
Yeah, Mazel Tov, or congratulations, congratulations, Mazel Tov.
so, so, so yeah, I'm
A
pretty
thought
active on
leader.
LinkedIn under my name, Ahmed Khawaja. Anyone can reach out to me, send a request to connect, and send me a DM. I'm always open to communication. I'm always open to have a discussion. I'm always open to take things forward. So that's how I can be reached out to.
Amazing. And we'll have to do this again.
Sure.
We have to do this again. And is there any other in the last couple minutes? Is there anything else you would love to share with? There might be 100 people who watch this in the next month. You have to, you're a shtickle.
I'll,
You are a
I'll
thought leader.
conclude.
You are a thought leader. Let's give you
I'll,
that. You're a thought leader. Admit it.
I'm not
Confess.
saying that it's just a platform out there which says. I'll conclude this discussion with from where I started it off. Uh, Whatever you're doing, or whatever you're planning to do, think of doing it differently. think of doing it in a way which is not done before, or if it's done the way that you're thinking, how you can change that and how you can do it differently. So if you're not doing anything unique, if you're not doing anything extraordinary, if you're not doing deep tech, and I keep on saying that go deep tech. Everyone else can wipe code anything now,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
Where there's
Deep
like
tech.
a million different wipe coding tools available in
Yes,
the
there
market.
are. Yes, there are.
Yeah. So when you come in front of the investor or the customer and you come up with something which is extremely deep tech and which is resolving larger human needs, spiritual, physical, financial, that's where you should be.
Amazing. This was an incredible session. And yeah, we got to get that out, get this beautiful video out there. What a great episode. And thanks for joining us,
Thank
Ahmed.
you
And
for
we'll have
having
to
me
have
here.
you back because I literally know the names and business names of 100 founders who are like, oh man, 20 pitches, 30 pitches. No one's coming with the geld. No one's coming with the money. And I'm like, you must be doing something wrong. You can't blame the investor for not investing. So we'll hold
Yeah.
over here. Amazing. Take care.
It was lovely talking to you. All right.